Good evening and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District's meeting of the Board of Trustees. We invite you to share your comments with the board during public comment portion of our meeting. Public comment sign-up cards show the rules for participating. Legally, the board may listen but may not enter into a discussion on the issue raised. The meeting of the Board of Trustees is now called to order at 6:03 p.m. We have a quorum with Charlie Bustillos, Connie Woodruff, Catherine Lucero, and myself, Richard Cudier. President Ochoa, Trustee Ramirez, and Trustee Rosales were not able to attend this meeting and are excused. Trustee Lucero, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are no public comments this evening. Okay, so Dr. De La Torre, do you have any presentations for us this evening?
Vice President Cudier, members of the board, we have two presentations this evening. The first, I'd like to invite Adrian Stresso and his support staff to go over item 1, Bond 2015 project summary and closeout, and our 2019 bond project design and construction update. And his staff is John Klein. John, are you taking the lead?
Well, I'm going to start off, and then I'm going to turn it over to Adrian.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Vice President Cudier, Dr. De La Torre, members of the board. Adrian and I are here to give you a wrap-up of the 2015 bond and also how we're proceeding in the 2019 bond. But before I get started, I want to say how thankful and grateful VLK is to have been a part of the 2015 bond. And as we move forward into the 2019 bond, it's been a little bit over 4 years since we started the journey together, and we look forward to the process as we move forward into the 2019 bond. As an overview, I'm going to give you a wrap-up of the 2015 bond, and then, like I said, I'm going to turn it over to Adrian, and he's going to move forward with the 2019 bond and kind of give you an overview of where we are with that bond. So 4 years ago, little over 4 years ago, in November 2015, Dr. De La Torre set out the 4 pillars of the bond. First, the projects be within budget, on time. Third, all else equal, go local. And then, of course, have quality projects. Those were our marching orders, and that's what we did as we moved forward with the bond. We basically broke this up into 16 bid packages. These are the completed projects. Of those 16 bid packages, we touched over 50 campuses. There were 17 major addition renovations or rebuilds of schools as part of this. And that's a lot of work that we've accomplished over the last 4 years, as you can see. I'm going to give you just a brief overview, take you back through the years so that you can see the work that's been accomplished since 2016, 15, 16. So first project out of the gate, we had the athletic enhancements at the high schools. That was, of course, doing the multi-purpose turf at the football field stadiums, and then also the baseball, softball backstops, outfield fences, and perimeter fencing. also adding lights to the baseball and softball fields. I talked about the projects, and we touched over 50 campuses. This project, the second project out of the gate, was the district-wide secure entries. And basically, like I said, we went in, added secure entry doors at the front entrance so that you would have to be buzzed in before you were able to enter into each of your campuses. So moving into 2017, the first major renovation that we finished was the additions and renovations to Parkland Middle School. This project is about 60,000 square feet. It included an administration addition and a classroom addition onto the building, and also we renovated a multi-purpose gym. Again, in 2017, we did the fine arts renovation of Ysleta Middle School, included a band hall, orchestra, an ensemble that we renovated inside the existing Ysleta Middle School. Also, 2017, a gym addition to Rio Bravo Middle School, included locker rooms and a weight room. And a gymnasium, locker room, and art room addition onto Eastwood Knowles International School. Finally, the last two projects in 2017 that we completed were the cafeteria addition to Tierra del Sol and Desert Air. Moving into 2018, we opened up the new Thomas Manor Elementary School. Two more cafeteria additions to the Lancaster and LeBaron Park Elementary Schools. And then had a phased opening of the Bel Air Middle School. And finally, to wrap up 2018, Hanks High School. We completed renovations to that campus. Spring break 2019, opened up Del Valle Middle School, and then followed up with the summer of 2019 with opening Mission Valley Elementary as one K through 8 campus. Of course, the largest project in the bond, Eastwood High School, the rebuild of Eastwood High School. This was a phased project, but in 2019 we opened up the competition gym, auditorium, and administration portion and completed that project, including new turf at the baseball field. Opening for 2019, Ysleta High School Fine Arts Edition. This was a band hall, dance classrooms, ensemble, orchestra addition to Ysleta High School. And then for Parkland High School, we had a early college addition renovation that we remodeled the existing portion of the campus and basically brought it into new classrooms for the early college setting. And then finally, the last project that we just completed, opened in January of 2020, is the sports complex addition for Bel Air High School. And just a reminder that I guess next Monday we have a ribbon cutting and community open house for that project. So that's kind of an overview of the 2019 bond. And now, moving forward, I'm going to turn it over to Adrian, and he's going to take you forward. Thank you.
Good evening. A lot of questions at the end of the bond were what happened to all the life cycle projects. And so here we had 20 campuses, and then you had campuses like Cedar Grove and Dolphin Terrace that obviously, because of the new bond, are being rebuilt. So these projects rolled over into, with the additional monies that happened in the 2019 bond, HVAC upgrades, the secure entries, fire sprinkler systems, all the additional items that we needed to add in those projects. I'll touch on those shortly. So what? Okay. So here we go. First project, just like was out of the gates last go around, was something with the fields. But believe it, so here we're going to multi-purpose, put the artificial turf on all the baseball, softball fields. We're going to start as soon as softball finishes at Riverside High School. So Hellas is going to be the partner in doing this. We have Quantum Engineering as the civil consultant. We've already been working with them. We're about 50% done with construction documents. We already have the authorization, and thank the board for their proactiveness in awards. We've been awarding, November, December, January. We're coming to you for another award this month, and we've got the ball rolling. So everybody's excited. The teams are working together, and come April, we'll be at Riverside. Each project, each site, they anticipate about 60 days, but really 60 to 75 days for both fields to be done, and they'll move through each field as you see there. We'll start Riverside, Ysleta, then Del Valle, Hanks and Parkland are going to start about the same time, and then we'll finish up with Bel Air's softball and Eastwood. I guess Eastwood softball should have been on there as well. So those coming later because of the construction that's already going to be happening at those campuses. If Hellas relieves some crews from other areas, it may happen faster. Well, we have out of the gate as well, and a lot of lessons and opportunities learned from Eastwood High School. We'll start with the portable village at Bel Air this spring. So in March, we'll be coming to you for the first phase of GMP at Bel Air High School with BTC. MNK, the architect of Eastwood, is doing a great job here at Bel Air. BTC, who built Eastwood, is our partner for it. So what you see there is artist rendering from the first schematic design. They've further developed this, but they don't have the renderings that show what it's going to be. And what you see on the right is the way the buildings will lay out. So it's going to be two separate buildings, pretty much in the area of the existing campus, and you'll have a nice covered walkway. So you have a 3-story building and a separate 2-story building, a lot of courtyard space and area for the students to collaborate. We've been working out drainage issues, and I think we finally got that resolved today, and we're really going to start moving with the design. So you can see how it lays out. You have 2 buildings. What you see in the left of the portion of the site plan is the HP building, the Health Professions building that's on site, so if that orients you. And so it's moving. We've done end user meetings, schematic design is submitted, and so far so good, we're in budget. Hanks Middle School. This is a rendering of what happened after the launch meetings where we met with the communities and had a charrette process. So they liked the design that they were calling the arc and more of not the arc like a boat, but the arc like a half circle. And here too, they've moved along. We have our schematic design package. The plan right now, as we're moving forward, will be under construction in September with an opening of Hanks Middle in August of 22. So that's how fast it's moving. And going back to Bel Air, we're starting in the spring, and with the phases, the multiple phases that the campus will have, the final phase is set to be substantially complete in the spring of 2023. What we have on the 3 elementary school site adapts, we've met with the Dolphin Terrace community and the Riverside Elementary community. At Riverside, what you see is after the charrette process, the campus is best located at the Cedar Grove site, and the first stab in schematic design for the architect is what you see is the new campus coming behind the existing campus, and all the elementary school constructions, the kids will not be displaced. They will be in the existing buildings as they currently are. Some of their playground space will be consumed for construction, but for the most part, construction will take place while their campus will not be interrupted. So what you see there is building in the back, lots of play area, and the area up front becoming a greenscaped area and parking. Dolphin Terrace, this one's unique because it's the smallest site to work out, and we have the pre-K center that's going to be there. So the pre-K center will have its own admin area, and we're working out the details of the cafeteria size and kitchen size and the layout. So this was the first stab at it, trying to use that prototype that the district adopted for the elementary schools. Might have to be tweaked some because it's just not laying out as what we would have liked it to lay out, and some of the relationships for the students. You don't want a library per se on the second floor. So this layout is going to change a little bit, but it shows that on the back half of the campus where the Nautilus building is, we can rebuild this entire structure with the added area for the pre-K building. At Scottsdale, our charrette process for Scottsdale is planned in early March on the 3rd and the 10th. And so this just shows the architect's first stab at showing that, yes, the site adapt fits. There's some options. And again, same thing, they'll build the building in the back area of the school. And then when it's all done, you'll have a nice greenscaped parking area. What they don't want to do is just make it look like a strip mall and have the parking in front of the building. So we're to work to do our best to, have a lot of green areas, the ponding and whatnot, and incorporating that into the design. Capistrano. So here's the one where, a lot of discussion on what's happening. So when Capistrano is finished, it'll essentially be a brand new school in the shell. What you see is the rendering of the new front area. So you'll have a new admin area, a new entrance, the secure vestibule the way it's supposed to be, and at the end, refrigerated air, new flooring, new lights, new paint, and the existing admin area, you can't really see on the site plan, but it'll be gutted to allow the flow as you come down that main corridor. You're still able to go to the cafeteria admin area. So it's going to be a real unique project, and I don't, if you see it now, and then when you go back, you'll be surprised at how that is going to all change up front. The life cycle projects, the HVAC upgrade and life cycle projects, right now we're, for the 8 schools that are in bid package 1901, construction documents are about 50%. We've had the districts already reviewed. Those will start this summer for those 8 campuses. Then we have another 6 campuses that are right behind that. Again, these are various between roofing, HVAC upgrade, primarily HVAC upgrade, the fire sprinkler system, and the security upgrades. And then some of them do have remaining items of, the water fountain upgrades, some restroom remodels, and they vary campus to campus. The Lancaster, we pulled this, and with the desire to get this done before school starts, the board will be, you'll have in front of you this board meeting, the award for the construction manager at risk to work along with the mechanical engineer prime, so we can get started in May to convert that campus to refrigerated air. And it should be done, everybody's, they've done it before, and so we're excited that with the right, general contractor on board, we'll be able to finish this. Glen Cove and Riverside Middle School, their schematic design's done, getting ready to move forward to design development. So the 3 projects that we just were awarded last month, and we're still negotiating with the architects, are the Riverside CTE, LeBaron, Tierra del Sol Desert Air, and then the major HVAC upgrades for Rio Bravo, Parkland, and Ysleta High. So all these 2 will also be in design in March. So within the last, 4 months, everything in the bond will be in design. Ground will be breaking in March, early April. So it's moving. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Just one quick question. When do you see the completion of the HVAC and everything? Because you gave dates for most of the completions of everything else, but as far as completion of HVAC for all the campuses?
So it's going to vary. The reason being is that as we work out through the design, and we're also working with the El Paso Association of Contractors, we don't want to oversaturate the market, but most of the campuses are going to be occupied and stay occupied. So just as say Tierra del Sol and Desert Air, for example, we did 6 or 8 classrooms at a time, dependent upon what the campus could make available. So some campuses have that space to make 8 rooms available. Some can only make 4. Some campuses, because of the existing heating system, it's dictated by existing system. But over the next 2 years, they'll all be coming into completion. So some sooner than the others. I'm not trying to, so if we pick a specific campus, it can go back further and say, okay, this one is going to be out, probably by the fall of next year or winter next year.
Thank you. Any other question?
Oh, thank you.
Vice President Kudir, we have a presentation this evening by the 2015 Bond Oversight Committee. They will issue their final report with us this evening is Frank Hernandez and Abigail Tarango.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, board members, Dr. De La Torre, and staff. Excuse me. I want to thank you all for having us out here. This is a great day for the district, for the learning community. Obviously, the accomplishments that were detailed by VLK and staff are just a huge civic and community pride component for what we are and what we're doing within the district. Kudos to Dr. De La Torre for maintaining that vision. We started back in 2015. I can remember those days when we were meeting here in these very same rooms. You're smiling because you remember as well. I'd like to say that we were having some positive conflict discussions because that's what they were. But nonetheless, we were able to get this Bond Oversight Committee going. We were tasked with the four main components, as John mentioned, with the, within budget, the quality, local as much as possible to make sure that it was impacting our community and our economic status here, as well as the on time, which was very, very important for us as well. You can ask Adrian at every project that we would visit. Those were some of the three questions that I would ask him at every single one, because within what the Bond Oversight Committee was doing is we toured every one of these projects as a whole so that we could get an understanding of where we were at, how the monies were being spent, and what our duties were and tasked with from the Oversight Committee. So great opportunity for us to get vetted into each one of these programs. And again, kudos to the staff and VLK. Along those lines, I'd like to make sure that the board members that are here from the Bond Oversight Committee, I'd like to have them stand up to be recognized. There was a huge amount of time, and thank you all. Thank you. There's a huge amount of time, a huge amount of commitment as we pressed on these meetings, and we started getting a little bit deeper and deeper into the completion in the 2015, 16, 17. It's incredible to think that it's been 4 years since we first started, but the amount of the time that we spent was very well spent. I can tell you that, because being a Baord graduate, every time I pass by that building, it is amazing to see. My daughter was an Eastwood graduate. We thought that was it, but when Baord came along, Baord is it. So, on those notes, you all saw some of the projects. We started with the field enhancements. I remember when that came out, my daughter being a cheerleader at Eastwood back then, we would visit the fields. I can tell you that the community was just enthralled with him. They was just so happy to see how everybody was on board with that. What a great idea to bring all those fields and those scoreboards. And again, kudos to the district and the leadership. The yellow, and I was talking to Abby earlier, the yellow basketball court at Eastwood Knolls, I mean, it's just amazing to see it. The community's Parklands project, the Thomas Manor project, I mean, just incredible effort that went into this, and the civic pride and the community pride that are instilled from the completion of these projects. Manny, I think, wants to say something as well. Manny, if you feel like you want to come up here. Did I touch it? Great job. The things that we learned, obviously, John and Adrian mentioned them, moving forward with the 2019 that's coming up. There were some lessons learned, and obviously we're going to take those to heart, we as the district and leadership here. So that would be the thing that we ask, is to make sure that we did learn something and do a better job, which was, now you're going to have to really excel, because the 2015 was just an amazing opportunity and an amazing completion, and what it has meant for the district and the learning community, the YISD family, incredible. And I thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
I won't add too much more to that other than the logistical parts of the BOC and how significant that is. I think when we passed the bond in October of 2015, shortly after that passed in January, I believe, we asked the Board of Trustees to give us their nominations for BOC members, at which we then reached out, and many of them quickly rose to the challenge and started attending our meetings. Over the last 4 years, what's been significant is that we never lost 80 to 85% of those people who started off with us. They had an opportunity after their 2-year commitment to either continue on with us or to resign. We had very few members who resigned. And if they did resign, it wasn't because they didn't want to continue. It was usually a family matter, lack of time. And I think that speaks volumes, because when someone commits 4 years of their life to making sure that we're always asking the right questions, inquiring about projects, and holding people accountable. And I don't say that piece lightly. They ask some hard questions. And for that, the district is incredibly grateful. Without a bond oversight committee that is made up of constituents who really care about their neighborhoods, that really care about the people that we serve, we really were challenged to step it up and to always bring our best, but to answer the hard questions. And oftentimes we relied on them to be extra pair of eyes and ears, which is always welcomed. Some of our strong members, which gave hours and never missed a meeting, would include Minnie Acosta, George Acosta, Mr. Manny Moreno. Goodness, I think that I could basically list off the entire Mr. Gary Woodruff. Again, 85% of our BOC members never missed a meeting and didn't resign. They're still with us to the very end. And I think that's important to note as you start thinking about who you would like to be on your representation for your Bond 2019 Oversight Committee. And so keep that in mind. Those people that were really committed to the cause, I think we need to really encourage them to continue that, because they really have proven themselves by investing the time and the energy. But certainly Mr. Frank Hernandez has been with us from the beginning, and hopefully he won't leave us anytime soon. So for that and the other BOC committee members that were able to make it tonight, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to say something to you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you. When we were looking at the Bel Air Sportsplex being built, and the community was saying it's not going to make it on time, it's not going to make it on time, and everybody's worried about it, and just the commitment of you guys as the community to help encourage them and to make sure that we're living up to what we promised. It just means so much to me as a board member, and I think to the district. We just appreciate your service so much. In fact, the contractor on that specific project had said, you know, when you get to the end of a bond, a lot of times that's when you see projects that are, especially the scale that the sportsplex is, scaled back, because it's just the money's not there, and there's nothing scaled back on that project. That project is 100% what we asked for and even more. And I just want to give you a lot of credit for that, because you helped us keep on task. You help us to do what we needed to do. And I just want to say thank you.
You're very welcome, and we look forward to working with you all again for the 2019. I know, like Abby was saying, there's most of us that would recommit right now. We all are available. I'm speaking for myself. I'm looking over there. They're like, oh. But I know that it's important for me. I see what it does for our community. And it's just a great honor to be a part of this. And I thank you all for that.
Just, Mr. Hernandez, just to piggyback on what Ms. Woodruff said, I do want to thank you on behalf of the rest of the board and everybody here, because every one of our communities was touched by the work that you all did. And you all don't get nearly the recognition that we do as trustees. We're the names that pop up in the news, in a newspaper, but you are our ears and eyes on the ground, and your legacy is all those beautiful buildings and schools that are going to be there. You can drive by any one of those and be very proud of the work that every single one of you all did. And We are incredibly grateful for it, and I truly hope I'm holding you to your word that you all stay with us through the 2019 bond, because if we do as good of a job as we did with 2015, our district is going to be the envy of everybody in the rest of the state. So
Oh, absolutely, and
do
I
thank
think
you
that's
for
what we spoke.
everything that you all did.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And we spoke about that many times, and it is the pride that it brings for our learning community, and we're fully committed to that. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I believe Champagne is available to answer any questions that you may have relative to her latest audit.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Champagne. How are you?
Good, thank you. You have any questions for January package and February package?
Yes, Mr. Kadir.
Ms.
Yes.
It's not so much, in some ways, it's not so much a question, it's just a comment. As I was reading through the different audits that appeared to be mostly from the middle schools and the fundraising review, where there was some large amounts of money that were part of exceptions, you know, in those audits. Is there something that we need to be doing to help with that? Because there was, out of the, I think 3 or 4 that I read, there was all but one that had some pretty significant money involved in the exception.
This round, we do all the middle schools cash management, and we change approach a little bit. Instead of sampling one deposit or one expense at a time, this time when we sample it, we take the whole entire fundraising as the whole. That's why the dollar amount you see, it looks bigger. Probably within one fundraiser, if the total dollar amount is, say, $10,000, within that maybe some of the deposits have short in collection backups, or deposits or expenses have some deficiency in it. And we try to show you the entire picture. We will work with accounting to see if more training or different way of training could help them.
I'm guessing that probably the middle schools aren't as versed in fundraising policy as the high schools would be. So I'm thinking that might be a good idea to maybe work on some of that with the middle schools. And then maybe even the elementary schools too, because I'm pretty sure that they're even further down on the fundraising list. So just a comment.
We'll work with the accountants to vote on the details.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you, Champagne.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, we will now discuss agenda items as listed in the posted notice of regular meeting of the Ysleta ISD Board of Trustees for February 12, 2020, and related recommended motions with the superintendent and executive cabinet, and receive responses to questions and/or requests for additional information through the superintendent in preparation for deliberation and action at the February 12, 2020 regular Board of Trustee meeting. Okay, we'll go through the consent agenda item. Consent. Number 1, Board of Trustees regular meeting, January 15, 2020 at 6 p.m. Please, if you have anything to stop me. Number 2, monthly financial update for the month of December 2019. Number 3, budget amendments requiring board approval.
I have a question about that one.
Ms. Woodruff?
I noticed in there that the YWLA had some funding in that. What is it? I was just kind of curious what it was for.
So it's the carryover of the work that we were doing over the summer. So as you can
Okay.
imagine, we worked all summer long, and we funded the remainder of it with what's out of our contingency
okay.
account. So we're just replenishing those.
So
after we
that's what
cover.
that is.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Number 4, Del Valle Middle School STEM Academy donation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think we should move this to the action item agenda so we can.
Well, no, just pull it.
Just pull it.
Pull it for, yeah, just pull
Okay.
it for a separate
Pull it for
action.
Just to
separate.
thank them? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are they gonna be here, do we know?
do
I can
not know.
definitely
We can-
ask Amy to see if Marathon would be here.
Is there anything else?
It's
on
still
the-
good to
oh,
thank them anyway, even if they aren't here, so.
Anything else, Ms. Lucero or Ms. Woodruff? No? No, okay. Pull consent agenda items, policy action items. Number 1, BE local board meetings. Number 2, CDA local other revenues and investments. Number 3, CH local purchasing and acquisition. Number 4, CKC local safety program risk management emergency plans. Number 5, CKE local safety program risk management security personnel. Number 6, CQ local technology resources. Number 7, CQB local technology resources cybersecurity. Number 8, CW local naming facilities. Number 9, DFFA local reduction in force financial exigency, or how do you pronounce it? Exigency. Thank you. Number 10, DH local employee standards of conduct. Number 11, EHBB local special programs gifted and talented students. Number 12, FDE local admissions, school safety transfers.
I have a question about that one, please.
Ms. Lucero?
I'd just like more clarification on this one, and I know we have an ongoing policy, but I just wanted to understand it a bit further. When there are concerns or a student reports something, this takes place once it's been, the students who have committed the infraction have been found guilty, or how does this happen? And then why is it that the student who's the victim is the one who's always transferred?
Oh, that's a good question.
So, good evening. So the question is, yes, it's when they're found that there's something evident, not just an accusation. And so that's what that speaks to, is that you're gonna be able to, the victim will have an opportunity to attend. I don't know if that answers that question. Sorry, I know I saw you were talking, Dr. La Torre.
But I wanted to understand, why is it that the victims are the ones who are always transferred? Or is that a common practice for the district? And where does that come from?
So that's a standard practice, per se, like a practice, and so not always is the victim is the one that's transferred. In some cases, and I know in the past, is when the person who actually does the act is the one that we seek to remove from the campus at times. So we've done that as well. Of course, that takes meetings, and we meet with parents and to facilitate that process.
So I don't want
May I add to that real quick, Ms. Lucero? It might clear things up. A lot of times the parents will actually, the parents of the victim will actually request to have their child move. In the event that the parent doesn't request it, then our primary thing to do is to move the perpetrator. But a lot of times the parent of the victim is concerned about them remaining in that same environment, and that's the reasoning behind that in a general circumstance.
It's a case by case.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
absolutely. Yes,
That's correct.
absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Number 13, FFAA local wellness and health services physical examinations. Number 14, FFB local student welfare crisis intervention. Number 15, FFBA local crisis intervention trauma informed care. Number 16, FL local student records. Number 17, GBAA local information access request for information. Number 18, GKA local conduct on school premises. No? Okay. Action items, number 1, BP 1908A Lancaster Elementary HVAC and Life Cycle Upgrades. And that, I believe, is it. Any questions? Nope. Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you.